Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to B Sports Picks. So yesterday we had two plays. Two plays, and they both lost. So it was not a good day. But we have to keep going forward. The streak came to an end. We had a 9-0 day, a 12-2 run. So it was like a 23-4 run or something like that. And then like 2 days in a row, it's been a losing day. NFL is not very consistent because they have a lot of like the favorites that are supposed to win. They don't win. Also, the other thing I noticed is that you have to take notes. Always pay attention to what your losses teach you. So, for example, I was losing. I lost a couple of plays inside the NBA, and then I noticed and I realized that last season, when the Cup came up for the NBA Cup, a lot of the favorites were winning. So, anyways, like what I'm trying to say here is that you have to pay attention to these. Who's still you still have to pay attention to who's still in the run to win the cup inside the NBA within the in season, and then in the NFL mid season they start realizing that they might not want to win, so they can get a better draft pick later on. So things like that. Those are like considerations you have to start paying attention to. So, anyways, what's up? Good morning, Julio. So I'm going to show you guys one play in the NBA. I guess what I'm trying to say with all this, whenever you start losing, you always have to pay attention to why you're winning and why you're losing. And I feel like because of the NBA Cup, the motivations behind the teams and stuff like that. And then in the NFL, obviously it was a holiday and things like that. So I'm not making excuses. You just have to realize that sometimes it just goes the other way. So this is sports betting. I have some good information for you guys. I really have one strong play that I really like. It actually hit for us the last time they played each other, and I'm going to tell you exactly. It's pretty much the exact same script that they did about a week and a half ago. So I'll get to that when I get to it, but I'm going to give you guys some other information that came up. And like I said, because I've lost like 2 days in a row, I'm staying away from a lot of stuff until I can recuperate some stuff. I'm not forcing anything. I'm not pushing extra hard or anything like that. So especially coming off the holiday yesterday, these players are actually people too. You got to think about that. They're away from home, things like that. So let me keep going. So let's get started here. The first thing I wanted to show is these points, rebounds, and assists. I'm not going to go through each one of these, but these are just a very strong streaks. So every morning that we post these, I just want to make sure you understand these are not our final plays. These are just very strong streaks, meaning that these players have been hitting these lines at a consistent rate. So this guy from the Hawks, 7 games in a row. Keldon Johnson, 5 games in a row. Austin Reeves, 5 games in a row. They've hit this line. So they've been on fire. That's just something to consider. Okay, so every day we post these posters inside our YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you can get these alerts and you can start looking at some of these players. All right, for the shots on goal, same thing. These are just strong streaks from these players that are getting a lot of shots on goal, and they're covering this line 6 games in a row, 5 games in a row, and so on. All right, so now let me get to the play. So I use this thing called the Sharp Edge tool. It gives you a bunch of information. Like, for example, right away, the first thing I noticed here, it tells you start looking at the under 222. So one thing with this is that it's giving you the current line, but it doesn't give you the full story. It just gives you something to look at, okay? Then from here, I'm looking at the projected scores is 114 to 106. So that's a grand total of 120. But the line actually started at 232. It started all the way up at 232, and it's currently at 222. So that went down a dramatic 10 points. So that's a huge collapse. So 60% of the bets, 48% of the money. Sorry, over here. Sorry about that. 85% of the bets and 82% of the money is coming in on the over, yet the line is dropping down dramatically. So you got to be careful with that. So let me explain what I'm going to do here. So inside the Sharp Edge tool, you can if you don't have access to this, you can get it for 14 days for free. So let me know, send me a message if you want access to this, and then I can hook you up. It's for 14 days for free. But This comes inside the sharp edge also. In the morning, it sends out, it actually gets updated every 6 hours. So it's looking at the current lines from the books, and it's telling you which ones you should be looking at. So, for example, here's the Mavericks and the Lakers. The Lakers went from a -6 to a -9, so that moved 3 points. I'm not touching these games. I'm just letting you know the type of information that's in there. This one is dramatic. It went from 232 to 223, and as you saw, it already went down even more. It went to 222. So that's a 9-point move. It's actually 10 points now. Same thing with the Grizzlies. It went from a 227 to a 224. That's a 3-point move. I'm not going to go through all of these. This one went up. It went from a 226 to a 230. So that's a 4-point move, and so on. So look at the Bulls. It went up. The Cavaliers went up 6 points, and then the Bucks went up 9 points. So again, that's something that you could consider taking a look at if you wanted to. But let me get into the play now. And this is the exact same play that we did a few days ago, and it hit very nicely. So it was pretty much the exact same thing. This guy, Cam Thomas, is out. You can see how many injuries are over here on this side. The big one is Embiid. That is their main defender and one of their main scorers besides Maxey. And Maxey has been going off, but they're missing Cam Thomas, this guy Edgecombe, and Embiid. They're also missing Oubre and George. So all these injuries plus all these injuries, they're not going to be scoring a lot. So that's the reason that the line went from a 232 all the way down to a 222 currently. It's still going down. So Embiid is out. Paul George is questionable. Oubre is out. Cam Thomas is out. All these guys are out. So the other thing with the 76ers to take a note of, I think they're a little overhyped, but they haven't won a road game in regulation since November 2nd. So they've gone 26 games on the road that they have not, or I'm sorry, they've gone almost a month when they're on the road that they have not won a game. They're only averaging 114 points per game, and they're allowing 128 points per game. Same thing with the Nets when they're at home. They're a 3-14 record, 8-game losing streak at home, and they're averaging 107 points. So that's where you come back and look at these things that start stacking up. Where is this? All right, I'm not going to try to pull it back up, but that's where it goes back to the projections where there was like 106 to 114 or something like that. And that's only 220 points. And again, you remove all these players. So what I ended up doing, I ended up buying it back. I went all the way up to 231. Let me make sure on that. I went back and I bought it back to let me give you the exact play. I think it was 231 actually. Yeah. So I went all the way up to 231 and then I bought it on the under. So I pretty much went all the way up as much as I can where it was making sense and it's not too expensive. And I was able to get that at Bet Rivers for about like -210 or something like that. So I do not trust them not to cover that 222. So that's why I bought it all the way up to 232. And again, I'm paying the extra juice also because, like I said, I have not had last 2 good days. So I want to kind of just get a little bit of security and cover myself as well. Otherwise, I would have went with like maybe 225 or something like that. Let me know if you guys are interested in anything else. There's not a lot going on today. They do have the Bears game. They're supposed to. The Eagles are supposed to win that pretty easily. I'm a Bears fan, so I'm not gonna bet against them or with them. But it's not because I'm a Bears fan. It's just because there's nothing that stands out. I did see Caleb Williams. It said that 4.5 attempts on the rushing. That should have been a play. You should take a look at that. I'm not telling you what to do there because it's not confirmed. But it did. Caleb Williams did stand out as a 4.5 rush attempts. And then Jalen Hurts, it said that he was not going to throw a touchdown because the Bears have one of the worst defenses for interceptions. Sorry, not touchdown, interceptions. So you would be looking at Jalen Hurts on the under interceptions, 1 interception, and then Caleb Williams over 4.5 rushing attempts. So again, guys, don't quote me on those. Those are just stuff that stood out that I was taking a look at. And then I'll go through this very quickly. Again, what I like to do here right away, I get these alerts. This gets updated every 6 hours. So this is Lakers moved from 6.5 to 9.5. The line moved dramatically. Like I told you, it went down 10 points. This one went down 3 points. This one went up 4 points. The Bulls went up 4 points. Cavaliers went up 5 points. The Bucks went up 9 points. So out of all of those, the only thing that made sense to me was everything I just told you. It's 85% of the money was coming in on the over for 76ers, and yet the line was moving down, dramatically down. And I showed you all the reasoning and the injuries and all that stuff. So if you guys, again, want access to this Sharp Edge tool, make sure you go to the description and click on Sharp Edge. It should give you 14 days for free. And if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe and check out the link in the description for free picks if you haven't done that. All right, guys. So sometimes, like I said, it's very demotivating when you have like a 2 or 3 day losing streak, but that's just part of this business. You cannot win every day. If you're hitting at around a 56% hit rate and you're doing decent odds, meaning that you're not paying a lot of juice every day and you're hitting at a 56% or even 54%, you're considered one of the best in the world at a 53 or 54%. So always remember that you cannot win them all, and we just have to keep going, pushing forward. All right, guys, thank you so much, man. What I'm going to offer one more time, send me a message. I was doing 1 week for $10, and that was for Thanksgiving. So I'm going to offer that today again. If you want the 1 week pass for $10, normally it's $50. Send me a text message and say, hey, I'm interested in the $10 1 week pass for Thanksgiving. All right, guys. Thank you so much, man. Let's have a great day.